This is how I added these creepy embroidered cat's eyes to my Year by Piece October 2025 squares. I always make sure if I'm embroidering onto a piece of knitting, I've blocked it first because it just helps to make sure that the surface is nice and flat. So I threaded my darning needle with the yarn that I wanted to use and then brought my needle up through the bottom of the stitch that I wanted to go over the top of. So the start of this eye is a duplicate stitch. So I'm going to go up through that gap, through the legs of the stitch above and back through the gap that I came up through. That's the basic duplicate stitch, and now I'm going to add a stitch across the top just to finish the eye shape off. I'm making sure that my stitches aren't too tight to begin with, and I'm going to come up through the top left hand corner of that stitch that I've just made and then down through the right top corner. That just finishes off the eye shape and makes this kind of angular, slightly angry looking eye. Now that I'm happy with the shape of the stitch, I'm going to tighten the yarn up a little bit so that it sits close to the fabric. So just very gently using the tip of my needle to tighten those stitches and then pull it through. Then I can move on to the second eye, and that's done in exactly the same way as the first eye. So those 3 stitches and then tightening it up. And then finally weaving in your ends. I like to loop through the purl bumps just to make sure that it's nicely woven in, and it's woven in for at least kind of 4 to 5 stitches. That's to make sure it's nice and secure so it doesn't come undone when you're using your final piece. On my second cat, I actually added an extra stitch to make the eye stand out a little bit more, and that was just a straight stitch down through the centre of the eye stitch. And that's my completed Year by Piece 2025 October pattern with added embroidery. Look out for my next video on how to add these French knots to make your mushrooms look extra poisonous.